Guys, order another round because we're staying here.
Yeah.
What was I thinking going back to Ant Island? I mean, we just got here, and we have more than enough food to get us through the winter, right? Why go back? But there was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. Ooh, one ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
He's quite the motivational speaker, isn't he? Let's ride!
Seventeenth of March 2015. My name is Paul.
My name's Andy.
And it's Tuesday. Do you know, I was thinking, we were talking about a business opportunity before we started, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then we played the Bugs Life thing to open up there. And you think, two things can't be connected. But they are, aren't they? Because we're the ones that do all the work.
We are.
We actually are the entrepreneurs. We're the inventors. We're the ones that create this system. And I know that sounds, but it is creation. And I know is it evolution, is it creation? The church has been against the scientists forever. Science versus religion, religion versus science. Sometimes one's winning, sometimes the other's winning. But the truth is that the life we live, both is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both is true. But we are the creators.
We are.
They are the inventors. They are the thinkers. They're the ones that... They're the visionaries of the future they want to envision for themselves. But they indoctrinate us to build it for them. Brick by brick, step by step, week by week, month by month.
Yeah.
So what we see is the next floor. What they see is the completed project. But we only see the next step.
Yeah.
And we only live such short lives that all we ever get to be is part of the builders. Because that's what we live in. We live in a world of buildings. If they were finished, they'd be called built. But they're not. Because we live in a world of build it up, knock it down. Build it up, knock it down. That's what we do in our lives, isn't it? We like to see people getting on, as long as they don't get on better than we are. We don't want them to come from behind us and overtake us in this imaginary race called life. We enjoy competition as long as we're winning.
Yep.
This is how small and short-sighted and closed-minded we are. And we never admit it, do we?
No, we won't.
When we talk in these shows, we talk about what we see. We don't talk about what we see in you, the listener. You decide how much is relevant to your life and how much you can see. We are not ever directly criticising whoever listens. We're asking you to ask yourself these questions. Are you guilty? I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything about what you think. I am only interested in what you see and what you do. What you think is your business. We talk about what we see, what we do, and why we think we see and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if more people could hold on to reality, reality is now, and the next hour and 15, 20 minutes, is our future that we are going to create. But it's through evolution that we can create it. Do you understand? You see? It's what we've learned. It's the experience we have gained. And it's what we want to share with each other.
And what you can adapt to.
And how we've had to adapt. Because the surroundings were here a long time before I was born. And the system appears to be in no immediate fear of falling to pieces, despite the hopes and wishes of those who hope and wish it would. It's not going to. For those that, the religion, I mean, many people now, you say the word religion or Bible, and you've almost hit an off switch. You've actually hit an off switch in their head, haven't you? They are now not listening. They are now waiting for their turn to talk about something more interesting, which usually includes them. But am I wrong in saying, in your eyes, can you see religion all around you?
Yeah.
Do you see the building of a new belief system that everything in the mainstream media is false and everything the alternative movement says is true? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Do you see that every day in the people that we look and read from? Do you see their immediate box jump from one box into another box, and they carry on boxing with everybody who doesn't actually agree with them?
Yeah.
Isn't that religion? Isn't it belief? Well, belief is just to not join another branch. It's just to jump from one place to another. You've not seeded anything. You've just chosen a new home to live in and parasite off that one. Unfortunately, in the alternative movement, there's no money and there's no parasiting.
No.
So what you've done is you've left the tree that feeds you and you've gone to the one that's not going to feed you. This alternative movement is not going to feed you anything. There is no money. There is no money, okay? It's not going to pay you, ever.
Well, that's why mistletoe was worshipped, wasn't it? Because it's a parasitic plant.
All right. Well,
So it grows. It doesn't actually grow of its own accord. It needs another plant to grow off. So they thought it was a mystical plant, and that's why we hold it up. We have a kiss under the mistletoe.
well, I can't remember what I've read about that, but I have read something along those lines.
It's so it is myth and legend. Yeah, it's
But the religious side of things,
filled with it.
people think that they've walked away from religion. They think they've walked away from a control system. They've done nothing of the sort at all. They're still firmly plugged into it, but now fighting from the other side. You can fight from within the system, or you can fight from the other side. I know which side I would like to be in. I don't want to shit in a field and live in a tent, do you? I don't intend to either. I'm not going to do that. Those that choose that life, well done you.
There's actually a term for it. I found it out this week. Doomers are the people that want to go live in yurts and dig the ground and go.
Yeah, but they actually want this all to collapse.
They want
everybody to get hurt so they can feel vindicated.
Yes, at the end of the world's coming, and we're going to be we're preparing for the end of the world.
What does religion preach?
Yes, that's it.
What has religion been preaching its entire existence? Suffer now, and your reward will be in heaven.
Yeah.
The worse it gets, the closer it's coming to his return.
Yeah.
We should celebrate that the world is coming to its senses. Although the madness surrounds us, the world will come to its senses. And Jesus, which is just the word I knew, is going to come back and save us. Well, if you want to take that to its literal sense that we're happy talking about, it's calling remembering. Putting yourself back together. You're the one that's fragmented. You're the one that doesn't have a clue what's going on. You're the one that daren't speak out, but dare go online and pretend to speak out. You're the one that doesn't use your real name. You're the one that listens to the happy ending, the utopia, the it'll be okay, just keep doing what you're doing and that'll be fine. Silence, of course, is consent. And on the internet, if you ain't speaking, silence is your consent. No matter how many words you're typing. You've been stereotyped into a type. You've been boxed. You've been kept stationary. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing nothing.
You've been filed.
You are being filed. Uniform, one type. This is a new school for fish. School was designed to make soldiers and workers. And school does make soldiers and workers. And if you're not good enough to be a soldier and you're not good enough to be a worker, you'll be an intellectual. And we'll have those as well. They're the weakest. They're the easiest ones to program. They're the ones that never question, never actually look outside the narrow line of vision, the specialist subject we give them. And they are so insecure, they can't change the oil in the car, the tyres on the car, they can't shop, cook, clean, iron. They struggle to maintain a relationship and have a poor relationship with the children. But they're really good at what we've taught them to be good at. The best thing is that they live in such a narrow band of understanding, they can never think outside the box, so they can never actually ever improve the actual doctrination that we've given them. Every thought they'll ever had will have been had by those in front of them. And those in front of them will never want to be caught. So those in front will never teach those behind everything they need to know to catch them. So as education and the amount of money we throw into education, £6,000 per child gets thrown into education in this country, a record amount. Is education improving? Cause it's not. Because the teacher doesn't want your child to be better than his child.
No.
Get real, wake up and understand what you do is what everybody else is doing. When you find something of value, do you give it away for free? No, you do not. You keep it, don't you? You keep it to yourself. If needs be, you'll actually formulate a lie and say that you thought of it yourself. You'll actually find somebody that they can help you achieve something you couldn't previously achieve. And as long as the person you're talking to doesn't know that person exists, you will use that person's service, you will add value to it, which is called your profit. You will offer that service and pretend that you did it. Tell me you won't do it and I'll tell me. You tell me you won't do it and I'll tell you you're a liar. You're a little liar. You know you'll do that. You know you will. Look at car boot sales if you want the example. Car boot sales on a Sunday morning. You pull up and the sale starts at, 9:30, 10 o'clock. You arrive at 8:45. What's happening? The sellers are in the back of your car, making an offer for things that they think are more valuable than you think they are. They'll buy the quality contents of the back of your car before you put it on the table. They'll then put it on their table and try and sell it for 3 times as much. Why? Because they think you're gullible and stupid. Isn't that the world? Isn't that exactly how it goes?
Yeah. Bigger version of it.
We do the little versions and the big versions. Everybody's doing it. Everybody do. I mean, look at there's an old joke, isn't there, about let's have a think. There's a butcher goes to the hairdressers, and it's a new hairdresser's just opened up, and he goes to the hairdressers, and he gets his hair cut, and he offers to pay the chap. He's done such a good job. And the chap says, no. He says, no. I can't accept any payment. He says, I'm actually doing my community service. This is my payback to the community. So thank you for the offer, but I don't actually have. I don't want any money today. So the butcher's really pleased with that, and he's actually very, he's very happy with the service. Really, he says, okay. And in the morning, when the chap goes to open the shop, he finds a pack of sausages and a little something from the butcher. Some cooked meat and a pack of sausages, so thanks very much. And he thinks, oh, well, lovely. Next day, in comes the local florist down the road. And he's use your local businesses to keep them going. He has his hair cut. And when he comes to pay, he actually gets the same answer that I can't accept your payment today. I'm doing my community service to repay my debt to society and to the community that I live in. So the florist, again, thinks, well, how can I say thank you? So he leaves him some flowers, a bouquet of flowers, on the doorstep for the next morning. That very same day, in comes the local MP. And the MP, who's very chatty and very friendly, and all goes very well, super haircut. And the MP comes to pay, and he says, no, I'm like I've told everybody else, I'm doing my community service, and I'm happy to do this free of charge to repay my debt to community and the society that I live in. And the MP says, thank you very much, I'm very proud of you, well done, you man, well done. And next morning on his doorstep is 12 MPs waiting for a free haircut. You see, parasites will always be parasites.
They will.
Look around, this is what we live in. Religion is a belief system. It is nothing more than a belief system. The belief system is that you have heard from members of your flock. Herd and flock, cattle and sheep. You have heard from members of your flock news of the day that you find appropriate to your life as you live it. And you actually will share this goodwill and your intentions to improve the world and live by the rules that you agree to abide by. Even though you know you can't and you don't. You tell everybody else you can and you do. Because mirror, mirror on the wall makes you perfect. Because the Bible is nothing more than a list of man's failures. It requires you to live in such a way that it's impossible to achieve. His failings and shortcomings are listed in the Bible, and you're meant to feel guilty if you can't live up to the guy called Jesus, who actually gave his life to show you how important it was to follow these rules. You're not going to give your life, are you? No, you're not, are you? You're not. No. You're going to buy and sell and be bought and sold like you've always been. Every man has his price. What's yours? No, I shall stand by my morals. I shall live by my beliefs, and I'll not be turned. You're going to die for those? Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Symbolically, I will.
So the alternative movement, the alternative move around the truth movement, says we too have a list of guidelines and rules. We have things you can and can't do. And I, as a preacher, am going to tell you what they are. We don't accept the illusion of money. We don't accept the statutes and regulations that are placed upon us. We claim the land is free and the use of it should be available to all for that fee of being free. We should all share and divide as one. We should share everything and come together and unite in the fight against the evil that we've imagined is trying to crush us. It sounds like every shit church I've been in. And guess the best of all, the preacher who isn't growing his own food, right? Who isn't independent, okay? Who doesn't abide by any of these rules. Yeah? Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
He expects you to.
He does, yeah.
Right? Because he says he is, so you must. This is bollocks, isn't it? This is absolute bullshit. If you're on benefits, you're broken, you're a slave, and you're not going to do anything. You're not going to change anything, you're not going to do anything. You're broken, you're on benefits, and you yap all day, and you'll do as you're told when you're hungry. Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
You'll bitch and moan and whinge and whine and do make no difference to nothing. But that mirror says, hey, I am superior to those sheeple that are working. Those sheeple, right, that are buying their own houses, going on holidays, that have got friends and family, and they actually, enjoy doing things, and they really have, enjoy living. They're fools, them. They're fools. They're idiots. They're idiots. They should listen to me. They should listen to me and become paranoid and schizophrenic and live in a bloody nightmare. And they need to know that the world is It's crazy, isn't it? It is the craziest thing you've ever heard, haven't it? And these idiots believe it. Mm-hmm. The current trend on Facebook that I'm about 2 weeks behind is the Flat Earth Society. Are you aware of this? The Flat Earth Society.
I did spot it, yeah.
You see, I saw this trend a couple of weeks ago and just scrolled straight past it. Yeah. Because I figured it was some sort of joke thing. Mm-hmm. I figured that it was, just somebody, just some sort of satire And I wasn't really bothered for the day, so I just went straight past it. It's not satire, you know. It's not. Apparently, if you listen to all 11 parts of a 90-minute documentary,
90 minutes.
Apparently. I haven't got that much life
Have
to
they
give
proved
away.
the Earth is flat in 90 minutes.
I haven't got that much life to give away, but never mind. But anyway, apparently, if you listen to Luke Collins, right? If you listen to Luke Collins, all 11 parts of this 90-minute documentary, you've got questions. Now, the Flat Earth Society, they have been created to discuss the theory of Flat Earth and archive literature regarding the Flat Earth. But it's not flat! What they're talking about? The theory and archive literature regarding the Flat Earth Society. But it's not flicking flat! What's to talk about? There's no wonder that last week we said we're going to have to stand to one side here and actually say openly, we're not with you anymore. Because after all the years of looking at this, you ain't getting smarter, you're getting more stupid as the years go by. When we first started, there was some element of honour in this, wasn't there? That the guys who were going for the Freeman route were doing it, they were trying to do it, they were living, this is for middle-aged dumb white people who haven't achieved anything in life, isn't it? And I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable. This is for middle-aged dumb white people who've lost. This is for the New World Order's victims.
Yes, yeah,
isn't it?
What's Volume 2? Reinventing the wheel.
I just know that as we move along, this is getting crazier and crazier and crazier, isn't it?
Yeah. Distraction.
It's no traction.
No
traction.
No attraction.
No.
Whatsoever.
I mean, they're at traction.
No grip.
But they're just. It's crazy.
Losing your grip.
Luke Collins is going to pay a high price for falling for this. She really is. But yet, these people, is there nothing we won't believe?
Apparently
is there
not.
nothing that we'll stand up for?
No.
There isn't, is there? We are the weakest, dumbest, most stupid set of people. And I don't want it to be true. But I keep seeing that it is.
It's the big illusion, isn't it? And we've moved forward from our time. It was Paul Daniels, wasn't it, on a Saturday night? And now the kids have got a
Dynamo.
an array.
Dynamo.
Troy. Is there and they've sort of gone along the lines of David Blaine and people like this, haven't they? Yeah. Can you see the magic?
But it's just from the Victorian times, isn't it? The magicians they held their own show. You know, they invented ways of tricking people that even are used today that people don't know. Still the same smoke and mirrors. Still the same doubles.
Yeah.
You know, still the same tricks are working on a completely different audience. Well, with the television, anything's possible. I mean, look at how we can change things, and that's the stuff that's been given to us. Well, if you want to ever accept that what's given to us is no longer required, because what they have is better, then you might learn that we're at least a decade behind. We're at least a generation behind.
Yeah.
I think up to 2, but in technological evolution, we're at least 30 years behind.
Well, that's where the boomers come in. They're on the technological side of things, and they're called the boomers.
All right.
So, and I'm thinking of things on the internet, on YouTube, and when you've seen something on YouTube, what I do now is I scroll underneath, and I find out what the comments are. Just take 5 minutes just to quickly go through the comments, and the amount of times people go on there, and they love to tell you. They can't help themselves. They go on and they say, it's photoshopped, it's this, it's that, and it's such and such a program on this. And I'm.
They've got too much time.
You know, I'm a technophobe. I'm just useless with these
No,
things.
you're just not techno.
I'm not.
You're not. You take no notice. Not technophobia. Take no notice.
Techno prisoners. And once you go through there and you think, yeah, anything on there can be photoshopped. It can be CGI'd. And Hollywood are doing it all the time, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And are they going to make somebody appear from the sky? I think they can, and I think they will be able to.
I'm sure they can.
I'm sure they can. Yeah.
The time's not right.
Yeah, the holographic stuff that's going to be that's on its way.
We've heard it all before,
and the technology that's coming.
They've got us looking up at the skies from the moment we open our bloody eyes.
Yeah, but it can all be, as we've been saying, it can all be faked. It's all. There's so much illusion about them. People
Everything's faked. We've been buying
real and what's
we've
not.
Bought a counterfeit life our entire life.
Yeah, I'm bought into some counterfeit crap on here as well.
But it's all been counterfeited.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they can't do it without our help.
No.
We create the counterfeit world.
We speak it into reality for them.
We make it so.
Yes,
and
we do.
And because we make it so, then we believe this illusion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They know it's not real.
No.
They sit above us in a parallel universe.
Yeah.
They sit in another Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They know exactly how it works. We watch I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and it's called a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
It is for those that are looking down.
Yeah.
We run around performing tasks and trials and trails and bitching on each other, forming teams and ejecting the ones that are lazy and useless. It's exactly how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a microcosm of the world you live in. And we watch it as entertainment and are too stupid to get it. And even if you get people who say, yeah, I know what you mean, they don't. They don't at all. One of the hardest things that we can achieve with what we've learned is that a little while ago, a long time ago, I suppose, I said, I'm detecting 3 more senses. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The first one was common sense.
Yeah.
The second one was feeling or emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one was knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 senses that are missing from the people around us. But they don't know.
No.
They've forgotten. They've forgotten what they are, what they're here for, right? But they've forgotten. Does that mean?
Yeah.
It's 1 generation removed. Now we're like the cats and dogs that we feed. We're just here to do what we have to do, and the rest is playtime. Or, if you really are in debt because you've wanted too much stuff, you're here to work till you're dead.
Yeah.
Simple as that. The harder you have to work, the bigger the debt you're trying to get out of. The only thing that's ever been done in our lives that we can point a finger to is we've been tempted. We've been tempted by the rule makers. And the rule maker says these are the rules. And if you do this, endowment policies, insurance policies, pensions, if you do this, it'll probably be good for you. So we did. And it wasn't. It was good for them.
Good for them, yeah.
So we learn. No, we don't. No, we don't. Even after they stole half your pension pot in 2001. Even though they stole another half in 2008. And even though all the biggest money men in the world are saying the next big crash is coming and every crash is getting bigger than the last one, still people pay in. You have to ask the question, how stupid are they? What's my option though? There's nowhere for me to put it. You could give it to me. I'll look after it for you. Best give it to someone you know. No, I won't give it to you because you can steal it. Well, that's what they're going to do.
That's what they're doing.
That's what they're going to do. How do you know?
They've already done it.
The past record might give you a clue the amount of debt that we're in might give you a clue. And when this all does come to a shuddering end, it won't be worth a light anyway.
When we're drowning.
Have you not realised in socialism that it doesn't matter how much you've saved up at the end? Those that haven't got get what they need, and those that have got get the same. It's not exactly different, is it? I have private health care, so you'll get a side ward to die in then, and better food while you're doing it. That's about it.
Until the money runs out, then you move back on the main ward.
A bad education is what's done us. The Prussian education system. Prussia was East Germany, as we know it, and it was for making soldiers and workers, and it still wants soldiers and workers, but it wants technological soldiers and workers now. And like I said, the money we're putting into education is record amounts in certain areas, and considerably less in others. But it's more than it's ever been. So throwing money at education isn't fixing it, because everything the government says it's going to take control of usually gets worse. Is it because it's mismanaged by people who haven't got a clue what they're doing? Yeah, partly it is, yeah. But is there a deeper agenda to it? Yes, there is. Yes, there is a deeper agenda to it. There must be people around here now who still have, a little bit of common sense left, that our kids, maths, spelling, reading, writing, it's over. Those things are done. You can't go to slave training centre for 12 years and come out and you still can't read and write and add up properly, unless that's what the system's ordered. School gets, what the government wants. What the government wants, school's given. And the teachers, I don't know if you've spoken to many teachers just recently, but they have no licence to do anything other than what is put in front of them. And they must regurgitate what's put in front of them. And if you want to take the creativity out of children, you make them sit down, shut up, repeat after me, and prepare for the next test. And once you have their mind focused on this is how the world is going to pay you, by basically sit down, shut up, do as you're told, listen to me, prepare for the new test. The next test you have to pass it, then next test, then the next test, then the next test. All the ability for that child to imagine, create, play, pretend, and have fun has been squashed. It's gone.
Cullum.
Yeah.
Curriculum.
Cull them all. Make them all go around in circles.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. And
it's
actually a crime. It's a bloody crime that's been committed. They're making them into little jails, and they're teaching the kids to fingerprint for their food, and eventually they'll RFID them, and they'll have all the entry-exit chips and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They'll love it. They're going to love it.
We have a good friend, don't we, Pippa, that's well into the RFIDs.
Yeah, Pippa King, yeah.
She's been going on about those for... we've known her for... I've known her for a good, probably... Or known of her for probably a good 2 years. And then and you've known her for 3. But I saw a little clip on YouTube now, and I think it's is it in Norway or somewhere? Okay. And there's a firm there, and they're already chipping the workers so they can get into the office, using it to swipe the door key.
People love it, though. They do love it. They're okay with it. It's the news. The revelations now are coming thick and fast. Right from the beginning, we said the mainstream media can't be lying to us. They can't be. It's too easy to say they're lying to us. But that's because when you first start, you try and go with the yes or no, don't you? It's either true or it's false. It's either true or it's false. And that's because you don't realise what you've been doing all your life. And what you've been doing all your life is cherry-picking the news that you find interesting and actually skimming the stuff that you don't. And for reasons that I still can't put into exact words that I'm comfortable with, the bad news has never been something that you've been bothered to read. Because what happens is with bad news is that bad news is presented to us, but at the end of the news story, steps have been taken to prevent this from happening again. So you're okay. You're actually okay with, well, that's how it is. A government department says that they'll look into the report's findings and they'll act if appropriate. So you think all's well. But it's not, because you don't understand that within this complex system of hierarchy, not everybody knows what's going on. The revelations are coming, like in the fluoridated water now. People are starting to become aware again that fluoride isn't what we should be ingesting in anything at all. Now, not all the water in the UK is fluoridated that we're aware of, but it's very hard to get it tested. So I'm going to stand back and say I don't know if the UK water is fluoridated. But fluorosis is something that you can spot, and that is the actual discoloration of the teeth. Your teeth actually, the enamel comes off your teeth.
Yeah.
So fluorosis, and I've seen kids with it. I've seen 2 kids with it in my time. One used to work for me, and fluorosis was something that he was suffering from.
I just asked one of my customers that I'm working for. I said to her to ask the dentist about when next time when the kids are at the dentist, ask them about fluorosis of the teeth.
But they won't
make sure they're checked for it.
Yeah.
And see what answers. And she said, "Oh, I wasn't aware of that."
Dentists don't know.
I said, "Well, you need to check for it." And the reason for that was the youngest of the kids had very, very bad teeth, and I said, "Is he not? Have you not got him to clean his teeth? Is he not cleaning his teeth?" And she says, "Oh yeah, cleans them every day."
Yeah, but there's fluoride in there. Too much. The kid must be swallowing it.
Must be.
Plus, they put fluoride in all sorts of baby formula, and fluoride's in bread and things like this. We don't realise, do we?
No,
it is very difficult for us to actually really work out how at the top of this tree is not a competition but a cooperation. There are the companies that make decisions, but it's not companies. Corporations have hidden behind those words for a long time. It's the people who actually make the decisions, that make the decisions through corporations, so they can't be held personally responsible because the corporation has made the decision.
Yeah.
So the corporation will pay anything that he's paying if they've made wrong decisions and found out to be so, whereas an individual can't get into that sort of trouble. And it's worked really well. But we are slowly discovering how the world works. And the corporations at the top, who have all the money they need, they cooperate to keep us down. The Bug's Life. The Bug's Life clip is a very good example. They keep us hungry, dumb, exhausted, sick.
They tire us out.
Yeah,
the ones that are working to
we
keep
are
those
at
that aren't.
eternal war.
Yes.
It's an eternal, everlasting, always been.
Yep.
You've sang about it at school, you've sang about it at church. It's always been fight the good fight with all thy might. It's always been this way, marching all together, left, right, left, right. It's been a never-ending war through a series of attacks. And we have attacks on everything. And these attacks, or taxes, okay? Taxes?
70%
taxes
of your money.
Taxes we have to pay to move around.
We do,
taxes, I tax. Yeah? It's exactly how it's meant to be. We are paid for moving around. We are paid for changing. We have to pay for these things. Everything we do now is because of the Maritime Adultery product that we now are.
Yeah.
We got turned into a Maritime Adultery product by becoming a corporation. And we're judged by the company we keep. And that's not just the friends that we bank on, but it's actually the business that we do. We are in the business not only of making partnerships, not only of marriaging, but we're in the business of doing business. And they've tried to make it so everything that we do becomes monetized. And now breathing will become monetized.
Yeah.
Water will become a tax. And breathing's going to become a tax. And you have to know that at the end of this road comes the end of this version of humanity. Now, I don't get to be in charge of evolution, because evolution's been hijacked a long time ago by those people that could hijack it. So we see a twisted version of evolution here, where every new thing that we get, we call evolution. And we think that we've imagined it. We think that we've made it possible by dreaming of it.
Evolution on speed, isn't it?
But we never remember that 30 years ago, we were shown it in the movies. We never remember that 50 years ago, we were shown these things by Tomorrow's World. We forget because we're wonderful at forgetting things. because we are surrounded by a never-ending information media service system, and we never want to switch off. We are constantly distracted and updating what we see, but we don't store what we see because we're fragmented. We now have no ability to store. So it's just in, out, in, out, in, out. Keep that bit. I'm interested in that bit. But we're not actually making anything work properly. We don't work properly. We don't think properly. We can't connect the dot to dots that we should be doing. The common sense is gone. Now we'll eat with sticks and think we're smart. When I go to the Chinese, I eat with sticks. Why? Because I like to follow the culture. I use a spoon and don't make a bloody mess. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, we've got mental illnesses and all sorts of disabilities that are coming through, and it's primarily through lack of sunshine. It's through lack of vitamin D and sunshine. Mm-hmm. And we've got mums and dads smearing the kids in sunscreen. We're told that fluoride, there's no doubt about it, fluoride is having a detrimental effect on everybody's health, but especially on young children. It actually physically can lower their brain development, which actually results in an IQ lowering of 10 to 20 points. Mm-hmm. Well, if the IQ average is 100, the actual dumb skull average is about 80. So fluoride, amongst all the other things that it can cause problems, is turning your kid from at least an average intelligence into considerably less than that.
And that linked with aspartame in your sugar-free drinks, everything now they're emphasising, especially the kids' drinks. This is what I've noticed where I'm working at the moment as well.
But it's in the newspapers. And it's in the bloody newspapers. Am I selling less fizzy drinks? No. No, I'm not.
And the kids, the parents are thinking that the kids are eating healthily or drinking healthily because there's no added sugar, and there's no sugar in there, so it's not rotting the teeth. And the kids are getting rotten teeth anyway. And I said, you need to look into this artificial sweeteners. It actually strips the calcium from your bones. But they listen to you for a second, and then
the minute you go off script, they just switch off.
Yeah.
I mean, this news article that is on my Facebook page, and my Facebook page, along with yours, will be linked below this YouTube video. But this article here, which I say is linked on my page, it says fluoride added to water supplies, local water supplies in England, may cause depression and weight gain. Well, look around.
Look around. Yeah.
Look around. I mean, this is from the University of Kent. This isn't just any old. This is the University of Kent, and it indicates that particularly high numbers of underactive thyroid glands occur in areas with high levels of fluoridation. Having analysed 98% of GP practices in England, researchers found underactive thyroids are 30% more likely where higher levels of fluoridation occur. So this is 15,000 Britons suffering that problem per year because of fluoride. And it doesn't have hardly any benefit to your teeth. Minimal benefit. You cannot drink a bottle of suntan lotion and expect to be protected from sun rays, can you?
No.
Well, that's what you're doing with fluoride.
Fluoride, yeah.
But they tell us, and still we do it. Are we actually the authors of our own demise?
Yeah.
When we are told, this is harmful, don't do it. This is harmful, don't do it. We think we're actually infallible, don't we? We think it won't happen to us. We'll be alright. I don't feel ill. Doesn't get everybody. Won't get me. Isn't that what we do?
Well, I get what my mother said to me was, the government wouldn't let that happen. That's what she actually said to me, my mum. The government wouldn't let that happen. I'm sure they wouldn't let that happen.
The government aren't in charge of how things work, are they?
They're not.
The government aren't in charge of this at all.
No.
The government are the administrators, the board of directors, for actually keeping the commoners, us, in line.
They're just interested in the brown envelope.
They're there to pacify us. They're there to wear the two faces of the political landscape And they have to lie because if they told the truth, you wouldn't like them. So they lie just like you do to be popular. You lie and you say, I don't use fluoride toothpaste. I don't go to McDonald's. I don't buy takeaways. I buy local. I grow my own food. I do this. No, you bloody well don't. But you tell other people you do, because in the virtual world of reality, the world of illusion, you can be whoever you want to be, can't you? You can.
You can, yeah.
The uniquely English illness of the double cross. Because the words double and cross, how can they be construed to mean say one thing and do another? Because those two words stand alone cannot possibly mean that. But the flag we have and the methods of war always involve a double cross, don't they? Isn't that what we've been doing all our lives? You say one thing to one person, and then you go say something else to another, and see what happens. Isn't that what people have been doing? Isn't that the poison of gossip? Isn't that what you've experienced and I've experienced?
Yeah.
And that the older people, more the older people worse than it. The older ones exhibit this trait.
They revel in it.
They exhibit this trait quite clearly, don't they?
Yeah.
They really do. Well, I didn't mean that. You know what I mean. You know what I'm like. I often say, I don't. They backtrack, but they don't mean it. Going to change directions a minute. I'm going to talk about something else in a minute. So we'll just have a break, shall we?
Okay.
This is insanity. You can't have a war on terror. You're having a war on terror, are you? That's right. What does war create? Terror. Exactly. So you're having a war against the consequence of the actions you're involved in. Yeah. But ours is good terror. It's good, peace, freedom-loving terror, you know. Kind of like terror light, you know. Sort of a diet terror, you know. Sort of I can't believe it's not terror, you know.
Steve Hughes, we like Steve.
We do.
We do. Missed him last time he was in Leeds. I'll certainly make sure I don't miss him next time he's up this part of the world. He actually lives in the UK now. Australian, rough-looking comic, but looks a bit like Wessel Gummidge. Wessel Gummidge. Anyway, welcome back. We've had our little break and topped up our glasses, and I want to change directions a little bit now, and I want to talk about the weaknesses that we exhibit all the time, and why do we do it? I mean, the war on terror there, it clearly it doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
It doesn't make sense. The war on terror, it's the war of terror on us.
It is.
And everyone knows it is. Everyone knows it is a fear-based control system. And as the system becomes more and more oppressive, as it becomes more and more impressive, because it is impressive how it does this, we become more fearful and therefore easier to offend. We still try and maintain our identity, but instead of standing up against the big things, we then stand up against the small things. The littlest things we're prepared to be unhappy about and be offended by. Whereas before, sticks and stones used to be the mantra, didn't it? And if you went home as a little boy from school and said, "Johnny's been calling me names," you said, "Oh, grow up, you big soft pussy. Names don't hurt you. Don't worry about what Johnny says. Johnny's trying to make you frightened of him. Just laugh in Johnny's face and say, Johnny, I don't care what you. It doesn't matter. I'm not bothered." You got taught to stick up for yourself, didn't you?
Yep.
And you were embarrassed then that you'd, Mummy. We're back there now, aren't we?
We are back there.
We are a nation of children. Now, I'm going to tell a joke, okay? I'm going to tell a joke, and I think it's quite a funny joke. But I'm going to ask, how do you receive it? How do you receive this joke? Shall we do it? Right, you ready? Okay. It's an old new joke that I've heard before a long time ago, and I saw it today, and I thought I'm going to use that later. So, you ready? What's black and screams?
No idea. What? What's black and screen?
Stevie Wonder answering an iron.
Oops.
Okay, no.
Oops.
Right, okay. That is it's just a straightforward joke.
It is.
It's British humour. It's what we laugh at. Now, I see some of the comedy being displayed on Facebook on some of the things that, some of our other gurus and hosts do. I don't find them funny. But I thought that as a pictorial joke, it's actually simple, effective, and quite funny. You know, sometimes I say to some of the girls that if I'm messing with some of the customers in the shop, and some of the girls, all girls are a bit flirty and a bit flighty, aren't they? And I'll say, I'm really glad you've come in, but when I dream about it this evening, you won't be wearing that. So it's a bit of fun, okay? It's what we used to do. It's what we used to be comfortable with. Now, the joke that I told, the Stevie Wonder joke, is it funny or are you offended? Why are you offended? Why? You don't know Stevie Wonder, and you don't know me. I have no agenda for telling the joke, apart from I thought it was quite funny. So you say, well, it's not funny, and I'm offended. Well, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write to Stevie Wonder and tell him what I've done. But I'm not the first person to actually tell that joke. But you can say that I am, and then you can blame me for offending you. And then go tell Stevie Wonder and see what he thinks. Because do you have a right to be offended by that joke? Do you have a right to be offended? Well, you claim you have.
You claim you have, yeah.
But then do I have a right to freedom of speech?
Apparently not, no.
You see what I mean? Freedom of speech is absolutely fine, unless I say something that you find offensive. But why is that offensive to you?
Yeah, that should be the question. Why are you finding it offensive?
It's not about you.
No,
it's
not
nothing
about
to do with you.
No.
And if you're not black, you even can't claim to have an interest. But it's not a racist joke. It's not racist at all. Well, you should tell a white joke to balance it. Why? I thought I had freedom of speech. It's just a joke. It's what the British have sold around the world and been very successful in doing so. Our dry sense of irony that the Americans don't have. That's what we have. I did it on purpose to see what reaction we might get. I suspect we probably won't get any reaction, but I hope we do. I hope people disagree with us.
Yeah.
I want to be disagreed with. I want to be told you're wrong there, Paul, and here's why. And I shall read and listen and learn and then tell you if I agree with you. And don't be offended if I don't. And be very grateful if I do, because I'll say thanks very much. I'll be very grateful if I do, sorry, and I'll say thanks very much. Yeah. You've brought me something that I didn't think of, that made me think differently, that reminded me that, there's always people out there that can tell you what you need to know. You just have to find them and share.
And how much of it is of that, of you being offended, is not you really been offended, but been told you that it's offensive?
Yeah.
So you've been programmed to. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're thinking about the offence.
What voice in your head told you to be offended?
Yes.
Where did that voice come from? And who is it working for?
Yes.
Who does that voice in your head work for? Do you control it?
Do you control it?
Or does it control you?
Exactly.
Now, what is going on here? Because this little voice in your head never stops questioning you. It knows everything about you, and it won't shut up. And if you aren't doing as you should do, this little voice niggles and nags like the worst wife you could have ever married in any cartoon you might have watched. It niggles, it nags, it picks, it pokes, it keeps you awake. So who's it bloody working for? And because it doesn't appear to be working in your interest, does it? And when it makes a mistake, does it apologise? It doesn't bloody apologise, does it? It blames you for getting it wrong. This is a two-faced voice, isn't it?
And do you know what it does? And I found this through experience. It works in your bloody sleep.
It does.
It works on your dreams. What dreams are you having? and a lot of the times your dreams, you can't remember them, but the vivid dreams and the ones that you wake up with and you think, why the hell did I dream
The ones
that?
you've not enjoyed.
The one, and they're generally the ones that you've not enjoyed.
Because we can say now that I'm over it. You're over it. But in the early days of this, when you're cleaning out your head, and you are cleaning out your head, it does actually happen.
No, it still happens to me now.
You're replacing things, aren't you?
I wake up and I think, what the hell did I do?
There is something going on here.
Yes, there
that's
is.
battling back, isn't there?
Battling back at you, yes.
It's trying to tempt you, isn't it? And it tries to tempt you, and you're not interested. So the next temptation is, well, let's be honest, it's sexual temptations that come along, isn't it?
Flips it back at you.
It does. It makes you guilty for thinking it.
It does, yes.
It does.
Yep.
This thing tries to get you back into where it can control you. So who is this bloody voice?
So, yes.
Because it
Good
never
question.
stops trying to get you back, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Do you control it? Well, I think I control it now. But guess what? I only control it when I've actually fulfilled my needs.
Yeah.
If I haven't fulfilled my needs for the day, if I have left jobs undone,
yes.
if I have perhaps made a mistake and not admitted it, if I have actually done something I shouldn't, it won't leave me alone.
Or if you're working up to something that you know...
Oh, the planning.
Yes.
Oh, the planning.
The planning of something. I find it's when your brain's been working on things ahead of schedule. And it's that ahead of schedule thing. It throws things at you. It throws you a curveball, and you think, bloody hell, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, if you controlled it, what?
Yes,
it doesn't. It controls you, doesn't it?
It does. There is something subconsciously that, and whether it's programming.
You see, conscience is conscience, and a conscience or a conscience is what you need to feel guilty. So this conscience of you fulfilling your day's requirements is what this voice is programmed to make you do.
Yeah.
This voice is
on the
programmed to
Yes.
make you do as you're meant to do. It's because you're a bloody slave. Because they have learnt how to program your subconscious. They have learned how to teach you to be a good little slave.
They have.
And if you're not a good little slave, that little voice says, you haven't done as you should.
No.
You've been naughty, haven't you?
And if
they've learnt to program that.
They have.
How the hell did they figure that out?
I don't know.
It's called progressively ramming it in.
It is, yes.
Your parents do it, then the TV does it, then the school does it, then work does it, and every bugger around you does it.
Even the tunes on your radio.
You've been guilted into it.
Yes,
you are guilted into doing the right thing.
And we think we can fix it by donating £3 here and £2
But
there.
it's a softener.
And it is.
It just softens the blow.
Absolutely perfect.
We would like to make you feel guilty for problems that we've caused at the other side of the world that are not your responsibility,
not your fault.
but you should help us fix.
Yes.
So you do.
doing
£1 billion. We're
doing it on your
£1
behalf.
billion to dress like a clown day. £1 billion to look like we've hit you on the nose day.
Yeah.
We've given you a bloody nose because this is a war. £1 billion. Have we built a water treatment works? Have we enabled those people to actually have clean water for life? Have we? No, we bloody haven't. Have we built them a solar-powered electricity generating station that will help them light their nights and maintain and run their farm machinery and grow? No, we bloody haven't.
Oh.
Why? Because this problem is not designed to be fixed.
No.
It's designed to be pop a band-aid on it every year and stop it bleeding.
It's there to be exploited, yeah.
And we know it is. None of these things are new. None of these things are even news anymore.
No.
They're too lazy to even make a new tune. They just repeat until they're getting sick of it. Just put new faces on and sing it. Well, sing it a little bit different. They're still dumb enough to pay for it. Charity. How much of it gets there? As Steve Hughes says, you give it to us and we'll make sure they get it.
They get it.
We'll make sure they get it. You live in a world of guilt. You've been guilted into feeling everything is your responsibility to fix. You didn't cause any of it. The bits you do cause, amazingly, you don't feel guilty for, do you? You actually don't feel guilty for it.
Nope.
You can wreck, you can abuse, you can shout, you can bawl, you can fall out, and just like a pigeon playing chess, you'll walk away like you've bloody won.
Yeah.
Pigeons can't play chess, but they're absolutely right. But the ones all over the board shit before they leave and think they've bloody won, won't they? You can't teach a pigeon to play chess, and you can't teach dumb people how this works. You cannot teach dumb people how this works. The problem is the one that it always was. It's you, isn't it? The problem's you, your lack of knowledge, and your refusal to fix it. We are now at the stage of our descent, and it is the descent, where we have forgotten everything that we should be.
Trying to be decent on the descent.
Yeah. But the descent, the red cards, the yellow cards, whatever cards, the green cards, whatever. We've been shown the warning signs, and we're not paying attention.
We're not.
We would rather do everything than pay attention. Are we being killed with kindness? Are we? I think we are.
Yeah.
I think the plans have been made. It can be read in the books written by those that claim to know what's going on. I think the descent is almost complete. And when you and I are gone, that version will have gone as well.
Yeah. We're made too comfortable. That horrible nursery rhyme. Rockabye baby in a tree top.
Yeah.
I know, and you put it into that context. It's not nice. You're trying to rock a baby to sleep, but it's going to tumble to its death, and you just think, we are being made too comfortable, so that everything will be given to us, and we will not strive for to make it any. We won't want it any better.
It's the wolf story, isn't it? Yeah. To domesticate a wolf, keep feeding them. A little bit for the first generation, a little bit more for the second generation, the third generation. That's where the food comes from. You're gone. They've forgotten how to hunt. They've forgotten how to be independent. They've forgotten how to be they've forgotten who they are. Just 3 generations, and they've forgotten who they are, what they are, and what they're meant to be doing. All started with working for other people. You know that, don't you? It's all started with exchanging our labour for bits of paper, created out of what was at one time a gold-backed system, but there never was the correct amount of gold for the notes that had been issued.
Yeah, I know it's on one of the £20 notes. Is it somebody Adams who designed manufacturing? That's where we get pin money from. Working for pin money.
It was pins, yeah.
In manufacturing pins.
The first line, wasn't it? The first manufacturing line. Yeah, it looked how many pins one person could make in a day.
Yeah.
And to actually automate it,
it
was about 20 times as many, wasn't it? Yeah. The future is coming. You can either prepare for it and deal with it, or you can walk away from it and become separate from it. It doesn't matter to me what you do, but whatever you do, eventually other people's money is going to run out. So if you think that you're independent, I hope you are. But if you're using other people's money, you're actually the biggest hypocrite of all. You're actually the biggest hypocrite of all. Always preach love and light, don't they? Love and light, and everybody share because I've got nothing. It's the same the world over. It's called socialism, and that's what they're going to vote for. The jobs market is shrinking, but yet where we live here in Ripon, do you know anybody who doesn't have a job, who wants one? Do you know anyone?
No,
me neither. No. Do you know how many people are at work? Yeah, I know a few people are at work. Why are they at work? Because they're bloody unemployable. They're unemployable. They have no intention of working. They are a product of what is today's modern society. And it was always accepted, by the way, that about 1 in 20 of the workforce would never be employable. There would be, if you get an employment rate of 5%, it is technically known as, that's pretty much as close to full employment as you can get. I think the UK is boasting a rate of something like 5.8% now. but those figures have been manipulated to some extent, and if you work 2 hours a week and you're still on benefits, you're still employed. It's a scam, really. The actual employment figure for the younger people is still 1 in 4. But it's because they're bloody unemployable. But I've been employing kids here in this shop. Not myself. I've been here now, 13 years. My mum before, 15 years. So I've got to see every member of staff that we've ever employed. Because I've been around all this time. The kids are unemployable. They are. School is turning them out thicker than when they went in. There's a crime being committed here. Real crime being committed here.
And there's a lot of confidence within, or no confidence within people that are actually working. That it was nice to actually say to somebody on Saturday that they had a skill, and they didn't realise they had a skill.
Yeah. We were out on Saturday, with my newest student, actually.
Yeah.
And first time we'd all met as a group. And in conversation, out came a skill that wasn't aware of. That was a skill.
No, she wasn't aware of it, and
we'll see how that goes over the coming months.
Yeah. I said, no, you bloody have. And I went, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never spoke to anybody that could do that.
We'll talk about that in the coming months, but let's get started with that first. Let's develop that. It's like they say, knowledge is power.
It is.
Don't give it away.
Oh no, I'm not giving
sharing's for sharing, but when you're ready.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, it was just an instance of that.
Yeah.
This is how we're talking about the programming, telling people that they're worthless. You're not worth, and you. So much of that.
Society's doing that, though.
Yeah.
Society's contracting you, make you feel smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
And the more the times they tell you there's no jobs, you will decide that there are no jobs.
Well, to be honest, Jeremy Kyle, Jeremy Kyle's program is white people having numerous partners, numerous kids, and they're broken, disjointed people. But they're all taken from particular parts of the world. This country, sorry. The particular parts of this country. Not everywhere's like that. We get confused.
Well,
what TV shows us is not the real world. The real world is outside the window where you live. Mm-hmm. But you probably don't know your next door neighbours' names. You probably don't know who your councillor is. You probably really don't know who your MP is. You probably don't buy the local newspaper. And you probably don't get involved in any community days or events or fundraisers. Mm-hmm. Yet, you sit home and bitch about what a lonely world it is. You're the biggest hypocrite of all. You've got to do something for something to change.
Yeah.
If you always do what you've always done, you'll always be what you've always been.
Well, the very word, I was just thinking then, the very word job, asking for a job, and instead of asking for work, I want to work. When something works, it works, and it works well. So ask for work. I want to work. I want to do something. Do you want a job or do you want to work? Which is it? I want to work. I want to achieve something.
A job is to work for another and accept their valuation.
Mm-hmm.
Work is to offer yourself and negotiate your own contract.
Yes.
But that contract has no benefits other than your reward, which is your charge.
Yeah.
You choose how to use the money after. But there's no sick pay. There's no holiday pay. And there's no supervisor. You're responsible for achieving the outcome that you've charged for. And if it should fail, you will suffer the loss. Mm-hmm. Who wants to live like that? Less and less and less people. I've seen the figures. There are now more self-employed people in this country than there was in 2008. Yeah. Let's look at the figures in 5 years' time and see how many of those companies are still going. Because most of those companies are washing wheelie bins and cleaning whatever. And I've said, please get on and do that. But make sure you do it better than everybody else.
Yeah. And we've actually been in the company of people who said, I'm not putting into this system. I don't agree with this system, so I'm not going to work.
Crack on.
And yeah, you crack on. You do
mind.
that. And we've disassociated ourselves with those people.
Yeah, because they're liars.
They are liars.
They're liars.
They're lazy liars.
They want the doctors, the dentists, and the police.
They want all that.
They want all that for nothing.
They want the cheap clothes.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody else to make them for them, and then they'll rattle on about sweatshops and all this, that, and the other. But
While they're on their iPhone.
Well, yeah, while they're on their iPhone. Yeah. Got all the gadgets, and that's the only place they can afford to buy clothes, is at where these big companies are chucking it out for next to nothing.
And they talk about love and they hate everybody who disagrees with them. They talk about love and actually annihilate everybody who disagrees with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what love is, but I know what love is to me. I do know that. And it's not the same as everybody else describes it. And I can't tell you what it is, but I can show what it is to people I choose to show it to. I can show them how it makes sense to me and why it isn't working elsewhere. But I can't do it in words. This is a show, and I can't do it on here, and I'm not going to do it on here. Because in the modern world, the word love actually should be translated as, please may I have. Because I love you usually comes with a, thanks very much for giving me, or I'm going to ask you for something in a minute. Okay? Which is why most couples, after doing the business in bed with their partner, they say, love you. Which just translates as, thanks very much. Correct?
Yeah.
Sharing experiences. Trading. We haven't a clue, have we? We look out the window and you can choose. The black and white world is up to you. You can paint it black and make it worse and pretend you're making it better. Or you can find the good in people. The good in people. And you can work with the people who have got a little bit of good in them. That's what matters. Develop the good side.
Yep.
And those people who want to shout and bawl and make it worse, leave them alone. They're doing exactly what they're meant to do. Showing you who they are and why you don't want to be around them.
Exactly, yeah.
It's Tuesday. Good night from me.
And good night from me.
We'll be back next week. Have a good week till then. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Whenever I get gloomy with the state of the world, I think about the arrivals gate at Heathrow Airport. General opinion's starting to make out that we live in a world of hatred and greed. But I don't see that. Seems to me that love is everywhere. Often it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, old friends. When the planes hit the Twin Towers, as far as I know, none of the phone calls from the people on board were messages of hate or revenge. They were all messages of love. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love actually is all around.